Hey, Sunny Tribe, it's Sarah with TST, and today I am here with Allison Calpin, the owner of Wyoming Art and Frame in Gillette, Wyoming. And we're going to talk a little bit about her business. This is one of my small business features, and she's going to show us how to frame something. And then toward the end, she's going to show me a completed project she did for me from one of my cruises. So the first thing we're going to do right now, hi, Allison.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you
How
for
long?
doing this.
Oh, you're very welcome. How long have you been in business?
We have owned Wyoming Art and Frame for about 9 years now. I've been framing for about 12.
Okay.
Wyoming Art and Frame's been around for about 50 years.
Wow.
So we're pretty excited to continue that legacy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. And what do you like most about the framing business?
Oh, boy.
Is that a tough question?
It
Probably.
is, because there's so much of it. We love so much of it. Our customers, obviously, they're like family to us. As a professional conservation preservation framer, what I love the most is when somebody brings in something that's very special to them, that's either irreplaceable. I mean, it could be a picture that a kid painted, or grandmother's shoes or something like that. But being that we only use methods and materials approved by the Library of Congress, we know that when we go in to frame something in 100 years from now, if someone wants to take it out, it would be in the very same shape as it was when we framed it. So we're helping people protect and enjoy, pieces that are beautiful and special to them, so that they don't get damaged over time. So that way they can enjoy it on their wall.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite parts, but I love working with my hands and building stuff too. So I love all of it, really.
Right. And aside from framing, you also have an art gallery, which I'll show you guys some pictures later. So you sell the art in your gallery and frame it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you frame other people's artwork that they bring in?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And so you do framing and you have the art gallery. Is there anything else you guys do here? Do you do shadow box type framing?
We do shadow boxes.
Okay.
Shadow boxes do take quite a bit of time. I try to warn people on that, just because we are very careful. A lot of places would just like glue something down, and that's not how a professional framer honestly does things. So they take some time.
Okay.
But we do. I tell people, if I can lift it, I can frame it, and we've framed some pretty crazy stuff. So
cool. And what would you say if somebody had, like for me, example, I had a bunch of pictures that I wanted to get framed into something as a Christmas gift for my mom from our last cruise with my daughters. What would be the process for me to get something framed here? What would I do?
Well, the best thing would be to bring it in, and that way we can go through and select our mat board. We can choose, we have lots of different colors of mat boards and things to choose from. And by the mat board, I mean the border around the frame. Not everything needs mat board, but the best thing to do would to bring whatever your item is in, and then we can work together to choose the right colors that would enhance it. And then, as you can see, we have a lot of choices for framing. Yeah. And a lot of times, people will mention that custom framing is expensive. It is a little more expensive than, our competitors, but we do build everything right here in-house, and we only use conservation materials. So, but we try to have a lot of options.
Right. So you're paying for quality.
Yep. So they just bring it in, we get it designed and everything. We ask for half down. Then we order the materials and we build everything right here in-house, from the mats to the glass to the frame and everything. It's all done right here.
Okay. All right. That is totally cool. And like Allison said, they do conservation style framing. So a little later, well, actually I can show you now.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Is a good thing for you guys to see. I was going to just take a picture of it, but as you can see, it's the same art. But go ahead and explain, Allison, the difference here.
Okay, do you mind? I'm just going to kind of tip it a little bit here so you can see. So we have, first of all, conservation framing means that we only use acid-free materials and methods as far as hinging, but we'll show you that later. As far as glass goes, this is one thing that people really don't even know is out there. But I think the most tragic thing that happens with a piece of art often is that it will not have conservation glass on it. And conservation glass means it has a 99% ultraviolet protection coating. So it protects it from fading, not only in the sun, but also from overhead lights.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And even cooler, which now that I'm a framer, I'm a huge glare snob, as you know.
Oh, I know.
But we have a couple of different kinds of glass here. So this is the conservation clear, and you can see how it has all that glare. And most of people that I know, if you look around your living room or your office, you'll see your reflection instead of your actual art. And so we offer what's called museum glass. And as you can see, there is glass right here, but it doesn't have any glare, and that just really makes a huge difference when you're, especially if you're custom framing something. If you're going to pay a little bit extra for that framing, you want to be able to see it and enjoy it. So the museum glass versus the conservation clear.
All right, thank you. Yeah, that's really
Isn't that cool?
It's so neat.
We always clean fingerprints off of it the next day because everybody wants to
touch it and look
the
at it.
museum.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So I want to show you guys real quick what Allison framed for me, and
turned out really good.
Yeah, it turned out so amazing. I'm so excited. And then after we do that, we are going to get a little bit of video of her doing a frame, which I'll probably put at the end of this as a montage or something like that. I don't know yet, but let me show you this. It's so gorgeous.
Right. It was fun. It was so much fun to frame.
We had so much fun, and there might be a little bit of glare because I didn't go with the most expensive choice.
But you did get the Ultra View, which is a little bit less expensive than the museum. The only reason you're seeing the little spots on here is because we have really bright, direct gallery lights on it. But in a home, it wouldn't show that lighting.
Yep. And as you can see, it was so great because I had this picture printed, which you can have pictures printed anywhere. Allison can give suggestions as well. But I had this picture printed up and I made it into a little montage of some of the formal nights that we had on our cruise. This was a princess cruise to Alaska that I did with my family, with my mom and my daughters. My husband and son didn't get to go, bummer. And these are kind of exclusive to Princess. They're medallions. This is how you get in your room and pay for things. It's kind of like your card. They have your name and everything on them. So I took all 4 of our medallions and brought those in with it. And Allison looked at all of it, and she's done this for so long and she's so good at it. She pulled out a couple of mats and she's like, these would look great with it. These about 3 different styles. She picked a couple of different frames. She helped me with my budget, which wasn't huge. So that was great. And she put it together and it looks so amazing. I just love it. Can't wait to show it to my mother. And this won't go out on video until after my mother sees it for Christmas, and I'll let you know what she said.
Show them the medallions, by the way, are
let's bring it in a little
magnetic, and so they were fun to frame, but they kept kind of spinning around and everything.
Oh, that's right. They were doing that when we were looking at them. Yeah. See, all the medallions are magnetic. So, but it's a really neat way to display. Yep.
Yeah, that was super fun to frame.
Loved it.
So this is our computerized mat cutter. This is what we cut our mats with. We can do just, rectangular shapes and whatnot, but we also can do very intricate patterns, pretty fancy stuff too. Cool. So, but for the sake of time, we're just going to do a quick mat here like this. So this is, I'm just going to frame this for the gallery. This is a piece by Tim Cox. Top and our bottom mats cut here.
Oh yeah.
And see, so they'll go together like
get it close enough.
Yep. So
how about you?
Okay. Yeah. So now we're going to cut the frame really fast. This is my frame square saw. It cuts a perfect 45 every time. Nice. It's my baby. I love this thing. We're just going to put a simple barnwood frame on that piece. Again, this is a lot faster than when we normally frame, just because barnwood is really easy to put together.
Oh yeah.
So usually there's quite a few more steps to this process than this. But again, for the sake of time. Now this is called an underpinner. I just get this set how I want it.
So is this a giant stapler?
It's called a V-nailer.
Okay.
And what it does is it's pneumatic and it shoots these kind of V-shaped nails, kind of, you can see that.
Oh yeah. And
what they do is they go in from underneath and they come up and spread out.
Oh, interesting.
Here is the finished barnwood frame. As you can see, we did go ahead and get all 4 of those corners done. You can kind of, I don't know if you can see those sort of V-shaped staples in there. So our frame's done. Mandy's over here working on the mats. So then I just grabbed Mandy cut some foam core. This is acid-free, meaning that it's acid-free on the top, on the back, and throughout. That means that it will not, when I say acid, the acid comes from the lignin in the trees. And
Oh,
so
okay.
that, if you've ever seen an old photograph or an old piece of art that's yellow, it's starting to crackle, that's because the acid from the lignin is leaching into the art,
interesting.
and that destroys your art.
Yeah.
So that is another reason why we only use conservation and preservation methods and materials.
Very cool. Wow.
And another reason why. So now we have it matted.
That's really good.
And normally I would go ahead and cut the glass and everything. If you want to, I can just show you.
That's where you cut the glass,
Yep.
but we're going to skip that part today.
Yeah, we're going to skip cutting the glass today, but we do hand cut all of our own glass right here on this piece of equipment. So
okay.
We just so then next, normally we would put the glass on, but that takes a long time just because glass is expensive too.
Right, and the cleaning and all that.
The cleaning and all of that, that would probably get boring for you. It's boring for us too. So anyway, so then normally we would cut the glass, put the glass on the piece, and we only use conservation glass. So then once the piece is done, once we get the glass on there, then we have this handy dandy little tool that we use to hold the piece down, and it just shoots those little flat.
Oh yeah, okay, I've seen those before.
Yeah, and that just holds.
And you can take it out pretty easy that way too.
Yep,
put the glass in when you're ready to and everything.
Yep.
But if you think about it, with the museum glass on this is exactly what it would look like, even with the glass on it. So
exactly.
Cool.
Yep.
No showing.
And then normally, after we get the glass, and then we'll put like a dust cover, which is a brown or a black piece of paper that keeps dust out and bugs out.
Keeps anything from getting in the little nooks and crannies.
Exactly. And then we put a hanger and a wire and everything on there, but that's all boring stuff. Okay. So that's with the finished piece.
Very nice. That looks really good.
Looks like.
Beautiful.
And then.
Okay, Sunny Tribe. So that was my time with Allison here at Wyoming Art and Frame. We had an absolute blast. I loved seeing all of the parts of putting a frame together. It was so cool. Yeah. And I'm super excited to give this gift to my mother at Christmas time.
I'm excited for you to give it to her.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everything you showed me today.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for coming. Bye.